I'm here with a gift, and that gift is the highlights of the Gabe Newell Reddit AMA. Now, of course, the full AMA will be linked in the description below if you fancy a read, but I want to discuss the real highlights of what Gabe had to say during the question and answer session. Now, unsurprisingly, there were numerous questions asked to him, and I don't want to go through all of them, but let's focus on a few. Now, the first of which is regarding the Steam Flash sales. Now, this has not really been news for a while. The last couple of sales have not had flash sales, but people were still asking about it, so clearly it's still something that's on people's mind as to, what happened to the Steam sales, will they ever come back, that sort of thing, and the answer seems to be no. As he said, quote, "We found that really short discounts made it difficult for many people to participate. By removing the flash sales, users can count on finding the best deals whenever they are able to visit the store during the sale." And to be honest, I have to agree, because, a lot of the time you just be asleep and miss a flash sale entirely, and it might have been a game that you really wanted, so I can kind of agree with him there, to be honest. Now, surprising to no one ever, the topic of Half-Life was raised, and while he didn't confirm anything, as we already knew ahead of time that there wouldn't be any reveals during this AMA, he did potentially tease Left 4 Dead 3. And he said, quote, "When we decided we needed to work on markets, free-to-play and user-generated content, Team Fortress seemed like the right place to do that. That work ended up informing everything we did in the multiplayer space. Left 4 Dead is a good place for creating shared narratives. The issue with Half-Life for me is that I was involved in a much higher percentage of the decisions about the games, so it's hard for me to look at them as other things than a series of things I regret." Now, over the last couple of years, Valve has very much branched out into the development of hardware. First with, the Steam Machine and so on, but obviously more popularly with the HTC Vive or Steam VR. And it seems to be that Gabe thinks that's where Valve's future lies, in hardware development. And he said, quote, "The big thing right now is broadening the range of options we have in creating experiences. We think investing in hardware will give us those options. Personally, I'm looking at research in brain-computer interfaces. We still need to further improve response times, and we're continually working to improve the quality of our responses. We're also working on adding more support staff in regions around the world to offer better native language support and improve response time in various regions." Another thing that Gabe was asked about was the very thorny topic of Steam quality control, or lack thereof. Steam has, quite rightfully so in my opinion, come under fire quite a bit for the lack of quality control on Steam. And someone basically asked is, do you feel the current state of the quality control on Steam is good? Even if you don't actually manage to stem the current flood of games, will you be improving the curator and tag system? And he said, quote, "There's not really a singular definition of quality. What we've seen is that many different games appeal to different people. So we're trying to support the variety of games that people are interested in playing. We know we still have more work to do in filtering those games so the right games show up to the right customers." And lastly, earlier on in the video, I discussed, or very briefly touched on, the fact that Gabe has a lot of regrets when it comes to Half-Life. And someone quite rightfully followed up by asking, well, what do you actually regret? And he said, quote, "If you're involved in a game, everything ends up being a set of trade-offs. Anything in a game is a sacrifice of things not in the game. I just feel those things more personally about Half-Life for a bunch of reasons." And Zen. So, there you have it. Those are but a small appetizer, a sampling, if you will, of the responses and questions from Gabe in the Reddit AMA. As I said, there's going to be the link to the actual AMA in the description below. However, there's also going to be a collection of responses from Gabe himself if you want to read on another Reddit thread on r/Steam. So they're both there for your perusal if you so desire. Unsurprisingly, no confirmations of anything Half-Life related or anything really, because, well, he did say previously that there wouldn't be any reveals, but still some interesting stuff touched on nonetheless. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.